What's up, everybody? It's Thegoal60 here for Monday, August 19th, 2019. So, last night we filmed our college football previews. There's going to be 3 of those. One of those is out right now. I published it this morning, so check that out. But as far as baseball, we start something new. This is the last 6 weeks of the season. We're going to go over the new system that covers that 6 weeks and who we're looking at today right after this. So before I get into the games, let's talk about the system itself. Guys, this is super easy. This thing, you can keep up with this on your own. You can watch my videos, whatever you decide to do. It's really easy. It's really simple. So pretty much all we're doing is we're taking teams that are in contention and we're playing teams that are not in contention. And that's it. That's as simple as it gets. A lot of times, the reason the other 2 systems stop mid-August is because the reason of this picking up, which is that teams who are not in contention, they can kind of see their season is slipped out of their hands. They start bringing up younger players. They start bringing up these AAA guys. They start bringing up even some AA guys every now and then you'll see out there just for a game or 2. And it's just a build for next year. They're trying to get a jump on next year, get a better run. And what that does is that the teams that are in contention, they're fighting because they want to either hold their spot and win the division, or they want to, they're fighting for a wild card. So you've got teams that are trying to get in the playoffs or right on the verge of it. You've got teams locked in, or not really locked, but in the playoffs so far. And it's simple, like I said. So what is the best way for a team to get in the playoffs? It is to win their division. That's simple. Of course, you have the wild card, but I can promise you, or at least I would think, that teams are not looking at, hey, let's get the wild card. They're still trying to win their division right now. They want to lock up one of those seeds and get into the playoffs that way. Last week or so, of course, yes, you're going to be looking at, hey, I can still get in the wild card. We're a game up in the wild card, whatnot. But right now, with 6 weeks out, they still think that they can win the division. So we look at teams that are either in the lead or a maximum of 7 games back from the lead. Why is it 7? I don't know. I just come up with a number last year when we started testing, and I thought, what would be realistic in a week? And yes, it would be tough, don't get me wrong, but it could happen. In a week, 7 games back, if everything fell right, the team that is trying to get to the lead of the division could win all their games. The team that's, in the lead right now could go on a slump and lose half or more of their games. And then that would pull that other team up to them. So I thought 7 sounds like a good number. And also the reason I come up with that number is because you think about it, most weeks you have a team who plays 7 games. Yes, they'll get an off day every other week or sometimes every week for a little while. But in a very busy week, they would play a 3-game series and a 4-game series. So therefore 7 games. So that's kind of how I come up with that number. As far as you cannot play on a team that's playing another team in contention. So like today, the very first day, the Brewers and the Cardinals are playing. The Cardinals are in the lead. The Brewers are only like 2.5 games back. We're not touching that because we don't know which side to take. Where I think will happen in that series is one team will win 2 games, the other team's going to win 1. I think they're going to split it. But realistically, we're not going to play with it because you can get swept doing that. Happened last year when we were watching this stuff, the Dodgers and the Cardinals, in fact. The Cardinals swept the Dodgers the very first series we were looking at. We wouldn't own it because I did the same thing last year. But, like I'm saying, it's possible for that to happen. So we just skipped that situation. We're only looking at teams in contention versus teams not in contention. Next up, it doesn't matter if it's a 3 or 4 game series. No 2-game series, nothing like that. But a 3 or 4 game series, we're playing them. It may be chasing quite a bit, but the thing is, you don't have a lot of volume of plays with this because you're talking, like the maximum right now, there's 3 teams in one division that are in contention. Most of them, you have 2. The Dodgers are 16 games ahead in their division. There's nobody chasing them. So, we're not really worried about the teams under them. But, so you don't get a ton of volume. In fact, like today, we got 3 series starting off where we have an opportunity. The price range, same as everything else I do. I try to stay around 150 for that first game because we are chasing. To me, it makes more sense that way. I'm trying to mitigate as much risk as possible, and that's the way to do it. So that's everything for the system. Like I said, you're looking at teams in contention. They're leading or they're a maximum of 7 games back. You're playing teams that are not in contention. 3 or 4 game series. And also the price range. Keep it manageable. At least on that first day. You can't really control what happens the second or third, but that first day you can try to set yourself up to where if it is expensive the second or third, you're okay. Now with that said, now we'll get into the games that are available today and see what we kind of come up with. Now as far as today starting up, we've got 3 series starting up. We've got 1 3-game series and 2 4-game series. 2 of them did not make it. They're unofficial due to price. 1 of them did make it, and we're going to be riding it. So the one we did make is the Washington Nationals against Pittsburgh. The Nationals are at 5.5 games back. Their price is -127. They're playing Pittsburgh, who is in last place in their division. We're taking the Nationals in this 4-game series. We're just trying to get a win somewhere along the way. That's it. Simple, right? The other 2 are unofficial plays. The first one is the White Sox and the Twins. This is a 3-game series. The Twins are leading their division currently. I think they may be tied for that division. They're -214, so they're too expensive for us. We're going to pass. The next one is a 4-game series, and I get choked up talking about this price. It's absolutely ridiculous. The Tigers versus the Astros. The Astros it's the weirdest thing this year. The Astros are a very good team, but they've had a couple different runs of slumps this year. In fact, last week was one of them. I think they lost 5 straight or something like that. If for a team that's in the lead in their division by, I think, something like 8 games, 9 games, maybe something like that, it's just weird to know that they've been on some slumps where they've been on streaks of losing like they have. But either way, Detroit and Houston, the price on this Houston game is $4.49. So $4.50 to win 1. We're not touching it. If you mess up and lose that, for 1, you're going to be spending like 10.5, 11 units tomorrow trying to catch up, because if that's the price in day 1, day 2 is not going to be much better. Day 2 is going to be at least 2 to 1, maybe more. I don't know, probably more. So you're going to be looking at a ridiculous chase. We're not touching it. We're not playing with it. We're going to let it go. That's it. That's everything I got. That's as simple as we can make it. And like I said, the idea behind this last year, when we started testing this in last season, live testing it, was it makes sense. Let's see if it actually works. Let's see if it works in the field, because it looks good on paper. And it did okay. It did fine. Let's get to this year. Let's see if we can make it a little better. We may make a few adjustments as we go and see what we can do with it. But right now, this is what we're going with. Washington, -127. Like I said, college football videos going up. Have one this morning. May put out one tonight if I can. It may be tomorrow morning when it uploads all night as well. But we'll have 3 parts to that. The first one's up. Check it out. Good luck today. Have a great Monday, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.
In a good way. Yeah. Brian, I'm going to be honest with you. That smells like pure gasoline.
60% of the time, it works every time.